Here in Adobe Illustrator, you have each of your figures on a separate artboard. In this case, I have 4 figures that just say 1, 2, 3, 4, but you could have just one. This is the artboard selection tool where you could change the size of your artboard if your figure got too long. And over in the artboard panel, you can change the names of these. And this is what our files are going to output as. So it makes sense to give these a good name like figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and figure 4. If you don't see the artboard panel, you can always access it from Window by going to Window and then Artboards. Okay, so now we want to export these vector-based images as SVGs for putting into Word to save as a PDF. So if we do it as a SVG instead of a pixel-based format, these figures will remain crisp. If a person reading the document on a screen zooms in infinitely, it'll still be crisp. So this is the best way to do it for vector figures, things with lines and numbers and texts. Okay, so we're going to go to export, export for screens. And here this gives us a choice of which ones we want to export. So we want to do all 4. And it will by default put it in the same folder that your Illustrator file is saved in, but you could change it to a different folder if you wanted to. And then over here, we're going to choose SVG. And since this is a vector-based format, there is no resolution. So you'll see these other options gray out because it doesn't make sense to talk about the resolution of a SVG. It's just not how it goes. But this is important. You will want to change the SVG export settings from their default. So this is where you can set the export settings for all the formats. If we click on SVG, you'll see these options. If you have not adjusted these in the past on your computer, you will not see what I have here, and you should change it to what I have here. So importantly, this is going to change the text to outlines. So instead of being encoded as text, it's just going to be encoded as the shapes of text. This is safer because otherwise Word will change the font of the text, and like that could mess up your whole figure. And these other settings. Even with this, if you have a really complex Illustrator file, sometimes it will not export to SVG correctly. So if that happens to you, know you're not alone. There's almost always ways around it. But for most simple figures, this will work really well. So these are the settings I highly recommend using. Please click Save Settings. And once you set those once, it will remember them forever, like how I don't have to change those settings anymore now that I have it set. And then you click Export Artboard, and bada bing, bada boom, we should have our 4 SVGs in that folder ready to put into Word now.